Well, there we go. I think I'm live. That's what it looks like anyway. So, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, hello, whatever time of the world, whatever time of the day it is around the world, then hello. And I'm glad to see you again. I'm just filling them out again because, I'm really not that into knowing what I'm doing. Yeah, I can see myself there. And I shall type something in there if I can. IPEOPLE. Hi people. Join me if you can. Welcome. Well, that's what it says. Right, okay, that's me supposedly up and running. And you never know, there might even be somebody there. It says there's one watching, which would be nice. If you're watching, then please put something in the chat because I'd like to. Things just don't work the way you expect them to. It's weird. That's Windows 11 for you. I've found Windows 11 to be a strange thing. I mean, it's as good a chat subject as anything, I guess. Back in a sec. This is a house that works, as in we have to do things when we have to do them. And that was about to go into spin. Now, I know I've got the Zoom sound on for muting. Excuse me while I have a quick slurp. This is not alcoholic. Well, that's not alcoholic, by the way. It's Diet Coke. No, I'm not being sponsored by Diet Coke. I'm quite happy to drink Pepsi Max or any of the other sugar-free ones because when you've got a body like mine, you don't need as much sugar as what everybody seems to think you should. I'm assuming that there's sound. Let's have a listen. If I unmute that and do that. No, I'm not being sponsored by Diet Coke. Oh, yes, it is working. Righty-ho. So, this is all good fun. What I'm doing now is I'm just trying to build a community and trying to answer people's questions and things. I don't know if you noticed, I've put a couple of videos up today. One was a direct result of another one. Put up the one about demagnetizing your heads using a wand. I wanted to explain that one slightly because it's a lot easier to tell you in person than it is to do it on the video. If you use a wand, be careful. That's the key part. Took a few attempts to get good at using a wand. I've used one for years. I used to use them for TVs as well. You could degauss the screen on a CRT. The shadow mask used to get magnetized. And that's where I saw my first major influence of a speaker. Went around the house once and there was a chap there and he said, my picture's a little bit naff, he says. That's not quite the word he used, but I'm sure you can put in the appropriate one. He said, and it's a bit green and a bit red and that up there, and I don't understand why. And sat on top of his, I think it was a 26-inch TV. He was a well-off gentleman. He had a lot of money because he had a 26-inch colour TV at the time when they weren't that common. And on the top of the TV, he had a Leak speaker sat. A nice, good quality speaker. But it was sat on top of the TV. And, of course, all the radiating patterns were coming from basically the bottom of his speaker. Not a good idea in the old days. Doesn't matter now, of course, with the new LCDs and LEDs, as far as I'm aware. But wasn't a good idea in the old days. Let's see, have we got anything on there? Nothing. Nobody's coming yet. Oh, 2 people are watching now. So hello person number 1 and hello person number 2. If you want to put something in the comments, it'd be nice, or in the other bit. I am monitoring it this time. Didn't get it quite right last week, but you live and learn. Try and do these things, make them do it. I mean, like, I'm having a problem looking at my eye line is obviously wrong because that's the camera, but if you looked at my hand, you see the angle I've got to do with the eye line, because the camera is on top of my monitor. So when it looks like I'm not really looking at you, it's because I'm not. I'm looking at the screen rather than the camera, but I shall do my best to try and get it right. Yeah, I put up another video shortly after the DMAG one, because people don't understand about the magnetic fields and things from speakers. So I using a compass, which is the best way of spotting a magnetic field. You can see what happens if you go near a speaker with a compass. It has a habit of making the needle move, and that's magnetism for you. And if it can magnetize a TV screen, it can magnetize a cassette deck. But I don't think people should be paranoid about the cassette decks. I think they should only try and fix them when there's something wrong, because if you just go fiddling with them, you're more likely going to end up making something wrong. But there we go. Anyway, I see Mogul. Hello, how are you doing? That's nice to see you. Glad you could join me. And if you've got anything you'd like to ask or say, then put it in the chat. More than happy to try and convey some two-way. I'd like to point out that I don't know everything. In fact, I don't know much at all about anything, to be honest. But I know a little bit about a lot. And if you go back over the years, it means it adds up. But live and learn. Try these things out. I tell you what does really annoy me, though. Why do they keep on changing stuff on technology, like, for instance, Facebook? I've got a Facebook group. I've got one for Gary Keep It Simple, and I've also got one for just a memories group. And every time you go on it, Facebook have moved something. So what you used to be able to do easily, you can't do because you can't find the flipping button. Anyway, that was that one. Ping. I wonder what that was. Oh, that was something that came off one there. That might well have been a Facebook thing. Boom, 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 boom. Let me have a quick shufty on there, because I'm quite happy to take Facebook as well. Let's have a look. Was it a message? Was it a message? Yeah. Right. There are 2 lives. One didn't work. Let me see what I've got to do about that, because what happens is you go onto these things and it says it's going to be there, and then it doesn't happen. So if I go on to content, bear with me, people, because I'm trying to make these things work, and they don't work very well. It's something to do with getting these things to respond. So that one needs to come out. Delete forever. That's it. I understand I can't do anything about it, and it's gone. Boom. Right. Now, there's only one live on the live section, which should be still there, so I'm going to have a look. I'm playing with my own channel. It's good fun, isn't it, right, okay. There's 2 watching now. And if I click on there, what's my favorite electronics brand? That's a difficult one. I have a soft spot for Sony, and I also have a genuine interest in National Panasonic. I used to be a Panasonic dealer, and I know what they do and how much work they put into them. Yeah, Goodman's is not one that I would particularly rate. Certainly, in the old days, it was good, but the modern ones they're just marketing. Tell you one of the good ones was Kenwood and teac, and just Pioneer, obviously. You can't really go wrong with the big Japanese brands, but every now and again they slip up, which is not so good. Favorite telly I ever had was a 20-inch Sony Profile back in the 1980s. Cost an absolute fortune, and the picture was so good it was gorgeous because it was a semi-pro monitor. That was my favorite TV. But since then, things have moved on, and unfortunately the tube on that went soft after a relatively short time. And interestingly, if you throw a vase of water straight down the back of a Sony Trinitron, one of those KV20 profiles, the power supply shuts off and it all goes bang. But if you just replace one transistor and switch it back on again, it works. Absolutely magic. But as I say, tube went soft, so what can you do? Let me see if Kelvin's found out now. Let's see, if you go back to the live tab, I'm typing. This is me. This is touch type. Well, this is not exactly touch typing. I'm touching the keys and typing's happening. You should see the. Let me see. You should see the feed. Right, that's that one done. I could actually shove it out on Facebook as well, I suppose. Might be an idea. I think I can do that, but I'm not totally sure. And I don't want to break it. Kelvin, hi. Nice to see you. And we've still got my scene. That's good. 75-inch TV. Wow. Good for the football. Good for virtually everything, I should think. Many years ago, well, we've still got one, but back in the days when 25, 30, 40 inches was considered exotic, I bought a projection TV. It was a Sharp projection TV. So we had anything up to a 7.5, 8 foot screen. We were restricted in our living room by the fact that it's only a 10-foot deep living room. So I ended up with about a 6.5, 7 foot screen projection. Coupled that with a 500 watt surround sound, and it was SVHS quality, high definition by those standards at the day. And my family still talk about that because we showed Apollo 13 in Dolby Full Pro Logic, and they had never seen anything like it. They'd never heard anything like it. And when they felt the walls vibrating, they was impressed. So was I. Unfortunately, we have neighbours, so I've never really been able to do that since. Right. Anybody got any suggestions? Because I'm going to have a swig of this. Again, this is not alcoholic. Looking forward to the festive season. Going to try and get some. Got a couple of videos lining up. One's another smartwatch, and one's a timer, which could be interesting. And they should be out, so you can see if it's a good idea to pick them up after Christmas. Smartwatch, obviously, because it's that time of year when people start looking to try and lose weight, which I've got to do again. You can see my chin's got very, very large over the last few weeks, but then I've not been well. Had a cold. Not going to harp on it. That's better. And yeah, but as I said last week, I'm still using the one that I'd reviewed the other week, and I've still got my Fitbit. And just so you know, it's they're compatible, as in they give similar results. Yes, Kelvin, the Apollo 13, when it actually blasted off, that was really good. We actually had the DVD, I think. Yes. No, you're right. It must have only been the VHS. It really did rattle. Interesting. Went up to Tottenham Court Road. Do you remember Tottenham Court Road, where they used to have all the hi-fi shops? And we went into there and said, "I'd like to find out about this amplifier, because I've got a Kenwood amplifier. I'd like to find out about doing this, blah blah blah." And the bloke says, "Yeah, okay then." And he turned it up, and all the metal racks that they put all the stereo stuff on, they all rattled as Apollo 13 took off. I think they were used to it, but in fact they might have even set it up that way. But wow, it was impressive. I tell you what, what I'm saying about smartwatches is, if you notice my body type, you can tell I run marathons, can't you? And I do press ups and all that sort of thing. No, I don't. But why I've got the Fitbit was because my wife bought it for me, because she was into marathons and things. And the good thing about it is that it gives you a heart rate monitor, and it gives you sleep monitoring. Now, I had to suffer from a thing called sleep apnea. And if you haven't heard of that, it's where you stop breathing at night, which tends to make it a little bit terminal if you don't start breathing again. So she was a bit worried about my health, and she thought, well, the easiest way to monitor health, as opposed to worry about it, is with a smartwatch, because if you're trying not to die running a marathon, then maybe it can also just stop you from dying living. So she bought me that, and it was very expensive. There you go. It was about £180 she bought it for my 60th birthday, so it's 5 years ago. Now, this one, fraction of that cost, but this one is the G-Tide. Now, this one does heart rate, oxygenization, sleep, and body temperature. And the good thing about that is, if you're in the position where I am, which is getting on a bit, it's nice to know that your heart's still beating. It sounds a bit obvious, but it is. And yeah, I can understand that, because I don't like one of the things I don't like about the Fitbit is that you have to do everything through the Fitbit app, and it all ends up like you go abroad and you can't change the time on it. But what I like about this one is it's instant. But look at that display. It's upside down. Look at that display, eh? It's just, you'll have to put up with it upside down. But there you go, 2048, nice and big. You can change it to be any picture you want. You can put a picture of anything you want on it. And I don't need to wear my glasses to read this. I do this one, but this one, and I've got the two on, not because I'm being flashed, but because I am monitoring this to see how accurate it is compared to this one. But I don't need to put my glasses on to read that. So at night, I can actually see what the time is. And if you sort of, I can't drive without glasses or contact lenses now. I've got to that age, so it's quite important. And yeah, this one, would I recommend it? Yes. So far, it's when the video went up, that's when I got it, and I've been wearing it every day just so that I can report back to you guys and say yes, it is, or no, it isn't very good. And so far, it's all right. It's It's comparable to that one in accuracy, which is the most important thing. Oh yes, smart wife. Yes, she thought it was a good idea to keep me around just in case. Oh, that's a shame. These are about 50 quid. So if you decide you want to try one, I think I don't know if the discount code still works that was on my channel, but even at full price, they're pretty good. Not to be confused with the things that you'll see on the. They've got some shopping channel type things and affiliate marketing things where they're saying, oh, this seniors should be getting involved with this watch. Well, actually, they're right, but not paying the money they're asking for it. Go for one of these is not a bad thing, but yeah. What can I say? That's the reason I've got it, and it's simple. Right, what we got in there? This is the G-Tide R1, which is a man's watch, and it's actually it's that one. Whoops, there we go. It's that one there. It's very good. It's available from Amazon. There is a link on my review of it, and like I say, I found it to be good so far. For the money, a fraction of the cost of the Fitbit. It's just good. And if you want to, you can put, as I said, you can put any photograph on there you want as your actual dial. I put on a picture of Cyprus and things a little while ago, just for the fun of it. The only trouble was that the particular format I did, I couldn't then read the numbers because I wanted to be able to see it without the glasses. But if I was using the glasses all the time, or if I was just had a sentimentality for it, I would use I'd use it that way. Now there is a thing. The latest when I had to reinstall my phone today, and when I was thumbing through the setting up, they got loads of World Cup images which you could put as your dial. So you can go from Mickey Mouse to I don't know, the French football team, or the who was it who won in the end? It was Argentina, wasn't it? Yeah, you go for the Argentinian football team, or anybody you like. But yeah, it does do that. Ah, well, you're lucky there, Kelvin. I used to buy those watches from the petrol station, about £2, and when the battery went, you just threw them away and bought another one. I used to use those a lot, but not found them. They're not around anymore. It's quite nice to have a watch that you can rely on, which is why I don't really like the Fitbit. When I say I don't like, I don't mean hate. I mean, it's just irritating where if it loses its time, it loses its sync, it's gone. Okay, Wasim, thank you very much for coming, and I shall be on again possibly next week, at about the same time, and thank you very much for coming. I shall try and get this thing about when they're scheduled and when they come up properly, so that you can actually guarantee on clicking on the right thing. But thank you very much for coming and having a chat. It's been good. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Anyway, right, so that's that one. And I've got various things going tick, tick in the background here, which is interesting. Anybody see that one last week I did about the cars? That was quite interesting. I thought they put the technologies in to make life more simple, and then it makes it more complicated. Well, that's the way it seems anyway. And right, anything else that's useful? I did an interesting video on, I thought it was interesting, the Tudor tape. Don't know if anybody's seen that. That was, now, maybe you can remind me, somebody, is it over bias or under bias when you lose the bass response? Because that one was very brittle. It was a bit harsh. And so I'm wondering, I think it's under bias when it loses. No, it must be over. I don't know. I can't remember. There is a chart, and I've seen it recently, but I can't remember what it says. So rather than make a fool of myself by getting it wrong, I'll just make a fool of myself by admitting I can't remember. And yeah, Tudor tapes. Nice, but not nice. They were actually of a similar market to the original SKCs, would you believe? When I had my shop and the salesman came in to sell me the SKCs, he was sort of like, trying to stop the Tudor rep from being able to get his foot in the door. But now there you go, see, you get what you pay for, but the SKCs were excellent tapes and the Tudors weren't. And what was the other thing I was going to say about? Oh yeah, anybody know anybody who can fix an air conditioner? You may know that we don't actually have our gas central heating in this house because the boiler went wrong and it's over £5,000 to get it repaired. Well, unfortunately, during the real cold snap last week, our main air conditioner decided to stop compressing. I haven't actually got out to see it yet. I'm hoping it's just something that's maybe a linkage has come adrift or something from the compressor, because the fan's running and the motor's running, but it's not actually compressing. And so, yeah. But if not, they're only about £500-600 to replace, plus fitting. So it's cheaper than a boiler, but it's only 7 years old, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, and that's that one. I was looking at various other tapes. Is there anything that anybody's interested in finding out about, or I'm trying to do videos. I'm fiddling there. Look, see, mustn't do that. I'm trying to do videos that actually make sense to people, and because most people just watch something and say, "Oh, no, that was rubbish," and walk away, rather than giving proper criticism as opposed to just being nasty. It's very difficult. You just have to keep on making them and see if it works. And I'd rather, personally, get it right and try and do something that actually somebody wants to. If one person wants to watch something, then maybe some other people will. So if you've got any ideas on what we can have, that'd be good. And other than that, I don't know, really. I'm trying to get some more equipment in to do some. I've got a V2000 that needs to be looked at. I'm still waiting for the pinch roller on that Hitachi boombox, and what I'm intending doing, unless anybody shouts otherwise, what I'm intending doing is putting in the pinch roller, changing the belts, and then doing a proper test on it. It is a tensioning mechanism, but it was hardly used. We had it for a special purpose back just before the 2000s. And I think it probably only got used about 20 or 30 times, if that, with a 1 hour tape. So it's not exactly what you'd call worn. It's aged, but it's not worn. And I'd like to see what the real figures come out on that, if that's of any interest. And what else is there? Yeah, I think that's about it, really. So, same time next week is what I'm sort of thinking. And yeah, we'll go from there. Please, if you've got any suggestions, if you've got any queries, if you've watched some of the videos and you're not sure what's what about them, or if you think there's problems with them, then please contact me. Let me know. Either put it in the yeah, Kelvin. That's the problem I've had, because when you put in the high frequencies, for your, that's why you got this extended headroom and stuff. But yeah, there is a chart. Um, have you, Kelvin? Have you actually seen that video on the Tudor tape? Because the sound quality is, well, I don't know how to describe it. And I mean, I'd be interested in knowing how something that can look like it's fairly good. Well, until you actually look at the frequency sweep, you see that it stops off at about 2K on the ramp, and then but it generally looks, the buff ting looks all right, and it goes up to 14. It does go quite high for a ferric tape, and then it just sounds horrible. It makes it's actually, I think it proves the value of the tests that I do. The fact that you can actually see results. You can see the third harmonic distortion on it is pretty awful. But when you actually see the end result and you hear the end result, you can't be surprised. But it does prove how wonderful those BASF tapes were, and the original TDKs and things that I've done. Yeah, well, maybe he says the same as the others at the time. If you were to go and have a listen to the TDKD that I did the test on, you'll find that that sounds pretty damn good, actually. Anyway, I shall have to look into that. Anyway, at the expense of saying this is probably time to go, then it's a half hour. Unless anybody's got anything to say, then in which case I shall wind this up. And I will say to you, because it's Christmas Day on Sunday, happy Christmas. Have a happy Christmas and a good New Year to everybody. And try and catch you, well, hopefully next Wednesday at 8:30, unless anything changes. And I'll try and see if I can get these scheduling things to work. That'd be good. Anyway, right, that's it. So I shall just sort of fade away. I could start singing, couldn't I? Well, what should I sing? No, I won't. I won't put you through that. But I will take requests for next week. I do a very good My Heart Does Go On. And if desperation sets in, I might even start reading a joke book on here just for the fun of it. Two men walked into a bar, but one ducked. There we go. No, I don't think I've got it, have I? No. Anyway, thank you very much, Kelvin. And if Wasim's around, I know he's disappeared now, but if he comes back and sees the end of this, thank you very much, Wasim, for coming along. And anybody else who's watching this, have a very good Christmas. Have a lovely New Year. And I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Yay.